What's going on, YouTube? We are back with an algorithm video, and this isn't part of the React Redux series that we have been doing. That is all pretty much done. I just got to put out the video on YouTube. In the meantime, I'm going to be recording the shorter videos that are just solutions for some algorithms. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. So it says, given an array of integers, find the maximum possible sum of its k consecutive elements. And the k for this one, example at least, is 2. So basically every 2 elements add them. And after it's done, then find the largest number out of that, out of each sum. So it's very simple, very to the point. How I did it is I declared an empty array first, and in this empty array we will be pushing to it later down. I also created a copy of the input, copy input, and to do that we can use the spread operator. So that's that. So we'll loop through the copy input. So let I equals 0, and then I is less than copy input dot length, and then y1. So we'll need to check first the length of the copy input. So we'll check the length, and it has to be greater than the k in order for this. So this condition has to be true in order for us to push. So we'll say push, and what we'll do is slice. We'll use the method slice, and what slice does is it takes in let me find the quick definition of it on okay. So basically slice is going to take 2 arguments, which is basically begin and end, and that's what we use for this. And you're gonna put in 0 for the begin and the k for the end. So now if the k changes to a different number, you will get an appropriate response, if I want to say that. Okay, but we'll also need to, whoops, what is going on here? We'll also need to remove the first index after we're done doing that. So what, and to remove the first index of an array, we use shift. So what we'll need to do is say copy input dot shift. Okay, and now let's go ahead and check what we have so far. So console copy input, and as you can see, we only have 1 and 6 left to do. So this is what's left of that array here. And now to get those last basically 2 digits, we need to create a conditional outside of that loop. And what we'll do is say copy input dot length. If the length is equal to the k, which is 2, then we'll just say sum dot push the copy input array. Okay, copy input. Okay, so it's saying let me see, not copy input, I want to check sum. Okay, there it is. So now we have it. Okay, let me just get rid of that ifs just to show you what would happen. So that's what it was doing. It was checking for that those last 2 elements and then pushing them. Now that we have our array, now if we change it to 3, I mean, you guys will see that 2 3 5, so we'll get that, and 3 5 1 3 5 1, and that's because obviously we are starting at the index, starting at 0, and we're going up by 2 elements, or 3 in this case, and that can change dynamically. So 4, you can see, and then 5, obviously 5, that's the whole array. Now there is a error here, which is if the k is 1, then it only basically returns 2, 3, and 5, which are the first 3. And to fix that, what we'll do is create an if statement straight off the bat. And if k equals 1, then we'll return input array, and we'll set that input array to math.max, and then we'll spread the input array. Okay, so an input array in there, and that will actually give you 6, right? So now that's the right answer for this. If we change that to, let's say, 100, that works. Cool. Now let's move on to the next part of this. Now we need to basically, let's put this back on 2. We need to add what's inside of these, the arrays that are inside of the array. And to do that, we'll need to loop again. So we'll say loop let I equals 0, and it will say I is less than the sum dot length, and then we'll do I plus plus. And now for this one, we'll need to, on each iteration, so each array, we can use the method, the high array method of reduce. And to do that, we'll need to, first of all, we'll need to reassign it. So we'll need to reassign the current iteration to sum, the current iteration dot reduce, and then we'll accumulator and the current, and then we'll simply return, we don't need curly brackets, accumulator plus current. Okay, so we now can check for, if we put a console here, sum, here it is, and now we have the basically the sum of our results. So 5, 8, 6, and 7. Obviously we're gonna need to get 8 out of there, and if we were to change this now, if we were to change this to 3, we'll get the appropriate numbers for it. So 2, 3, 5, that's 10, and then 3, 5, and 1, that's 9, 5, 1, and 6, that is 12. So we would get 12. So let's go ahead and put that back to 2. Now let's get rid of that console, return sum, simply like that. And before we return sum, we'll need to reassign it again. So we'll do sum, and then we'll do the same thing as we did on our first line of code here. So we'll do math.max, and then we'll spread the sum array in there, and it'll give us 8. So now if we go back and try number 3, obviously it's going to give us 2. If we do 1, we'll get 6. And that is how you solve array max consecutive sum. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.